Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Chad bringing y'all another video, man. And in this video, we're going to be talking about guns. So, before I even get into the gun topic, I just want to say all prayers, all condolences to the family of the kids that were killed in the Texas shooting. 19 children were killed, two teachers, and the guy shot his grandma, and then the police killed him, and that's just a tragedy in its own. No kid really deserves to go to school just thinking, oh, it's just gonna be another day at school, and then they end up being killed. Just transitioning to classes. So, you know, prayers go out to the family, everybody in the community, everyone that is affected. Now, what I have been seeing about that whole issue, after the school shootings, and also the most recent shooting in the grocery store, is a lot of people, are already jumping to the conclusion or coming to the bright idea of something must be done. I'm sick of this, and something must be done about this. Blah 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 blah. And just off rip, it kind of disgusts me when I see people turning this shooting into a political thing, with Republicans. They've caused this because Republicans were trending on Twitter because of this. Different people are saying like that's why we need stricter gun laws. And just like to break down some of those points, a lot of people are like, he would have never committed this atrocity if we had universal background checks and blah blah blah. And it's like the dude that committed this school shooting at the elementary school, he turned 18, he got an AR, and he went through a background check to get it. So it's like there's not really much you can do in that circumstance. People are like, we need universal background checks because they already are on the books, they already exist. But yet people still use that talking point as though it's actually gonna make a change. Then we see another part of the actual, people trying to politicize it is, they try to turn it into, well, we just need, more gun laws, and it's like the Second Amendment for you to carry your gun wasn't really supposed to have any laws on the books to pertain to, being able to own a gun or use a gun. I'm not a person that's gonna say no laws at all, no laws. Like, I definitely think that, background checks are good. Now, when it starts getting into like the mental evaluation and stuff, someone can pass off as they're mentally capable or mentally, sane, not insane, just mentally sane. They got their, shoes on the right foot, their ducks in a row, and one day just snap and go and do an atrocity like what happened at the elementary school. So in my head, it's just like, I don't really see where that can go. But like I said, it really does kind of disgust me when I see, a lot of people turning this whole school shooting and the kids' lives being lost into like political stunts just to get political brownie points or virtue signal. Because like I said, most of the laws that are on the books, the people who are kind of misinformed about guns, they're advocating for laws that are already in place. You see what I mean? Now, when it comes to you know, how I feel about guns, I think everybody should get you a gun. Just to be 100% transparent, I think everybody should have a gun. What I don't like is how, when people advocate from stricter gun laws or, needing extra steps to get a gun, they're not hurting. Like when the person shot up the grocery store and this person shot up the school, right? They're not coming after the shooter. They're not coming after anybody but regular people like me. When people advocate for we need stricter gun laws, we need more rules, more regulations, more this, more that, they're not talking about anybody but me. They're trying to talk about me. And when I say me, I mean people who, want their Second Amendment right. Like me, you, if you're watching, if you, like your Second Amendment right, everything like that. And so they try to punish law abiding citizens who want guns over punishing the people who, you can't, well, in my eyes, you can't really 100% stop school shootings. You can't, because some people may pass the background check, just like this guy that shut up the elementary school. Some people, if they had mental evaluation, some people would probably pass the mental evaluation. Like I said, This really just stems from somebody can be mentally, sane. They can have all their ducks in a row. They can pass a background check and one day just snap and go shoot up some stuff. Now, that doesn't mean ban guns for everybody, even including law-abiding citizens, because if you put more restrictions on law-abiding citizens and people who follow the law, criminals, which this guy that shot up the school, as well as the guy that shot up the grocery store, these are criminals. Criminals are going to get guns regardless. Mass shootings happen. I'm not trying to diminish the elementary school kids getting shot because, like I said, that's a tragedy in its own. But mass shootings happen every day. In Chicago, they have mass shootings every weekend. More and more people are killed. In New York, people are being killed. And what you tend to see, just like through the actual statistics, is most states that have strict gun laws are where most of the killings or mass shootings actually happen. So it's like, how can one really say, we need stricter gun laws and stuff, blah, 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 when most of the shootings happen in those stricter gun law states? So you would think, well, if the rules are stricter, people wouldn't have them. But it's like people fail to realize that every time they advocate for stricter gun laws or for governors and the feds to do something about gun laws, they're always hurting law-abiding citizens. Why take my gun away? If I lived in Texas, right, and let's say Greg Abbott was just like, you know what, no guns. Why take away my gun rights because some lunatic went to go shoot up an elementary school? See what I'm saying? It doesn't quite correlate. Why punish people who follow the law over criminals who are going to find guns, shoot people, do mass shootings, regardless of the fact whether you ban guns, add more restrictions or not? Because I guarantee law-abiding citizens, if they tried to get a gun and you had to go through all these loops and crannies and all these restrictions, they would make it so hard for regular people to get guns that most people wouldn't have them. And that's the end goal. They don't want you to have guns to protect yourself from people as well as your government. Like the whole Second Amendment was to protect you from tyranny, but also to protect yourself. So if law-abiding citizens are having to go through all these loops, all these different alleyways to try to get a gun, most of them are probably not going to have a gun, and those that do will be the few. Criminals, you think criminals are going to follow the, let me get a background check? No felon is going to say, I'm going to still try to get a gun with a background check. I'm going to still try to, follow the rules. No, criminals are going to get their guns regardless of the fact. It doesn't matter. You can outright ban guns. Shootings will still happen between gangs and criminals. It's just pointless. If you're a criminal and you want to do harm to people, all you're doing is leaving the door open for criminals to then attack regular people. And they know in their head, these fools got to go through all the loops and crannies to try to get a gun. They're law-abiding citizens. They're going to try to obey the law and go get a gun. While me, I know I'm not going to obey the law, so I'm going to just rob them. They're not going to shoot me. They don't have guns. They law-abiding citizens. And that's kind of like the point of that I'm trying to make, that like when people advocate for, stricter gun laws or more rules and regulations, they're not hurting anybody. Like I understand that this is a tragedy, but they're not hurting anybody advocating for that stuff besides law-abiding citizens. And people also are saying, where were the police? The police were there at the shooting. As law enforcement and different stuff like that, they do their job. They do their job. They can't prevent 100% of everything, but they definitely do their job. We have to allow them to do their job. They can't prevent stuff like this from happening. He passed the background check. He got the gun legally. Mentally, I don't know if he was mentally, insane. Well, he's a lunatic because he shot up an elementary school full of kids. But there's no mental of that. So there's not really much police could do besides once he started shooting, like Greg Abbott said, they held him down and they killed him. It is what it is. So, people advocate where the police were there. People are also advocating for whenever there's stuff like this that happens, they try to solve it by either trying to ban guns outright, like I said, adding more rules and regulations, which the end goal of the more rules and regulations is just ban guns altogether. So we can be like other countries with no guns that can't protect themselves, and then their government treats them like complete trash. Australia, the lockdowns during COVID, their government treated them like complete trash. Canada, their government treated them like complete trash. And I bet you there's not guns allowed there. And back to the point, a lot of, you know, people who are advocating for like the gun control and regulations, they're also the same ones that are saying, government, daddy government, please help us out, help solve this issue, please. And they ask for the government to put more rules and regulations, or their governors to do something about the issue. And it's like, we can't keep relying on the government to fix the issues that we as a society have. A lot of this stuff has to do with society and its degeneracy or moral decline, which has caused a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff has to do with political polarization of people, making people angrier every day, allowing them to be like super extreme, super dangerous. A lot of this has to do with, you know, just a lot of different things. Like mentally, people are unhealthy, you know. I don't like to say mental health, because I feel like mental health does play a part in it, but I also think that a lot of times we kind of pass the blame onto mental health instead of just holding the person accountable. Now, yes, they could be sick in the head. Yeah, they could be lunatics, but I think sometimes, yes, mental health does play a key role, but I think at also times mental health is like a scapegoat for how people actually were in a certain situation. It's also been proven that when people say nobody needs our AR-15 and they just shoot up stuff, most of actual mass shootings or shootings in general don't happen with assault rifles. They happen with pistols or handguns. So when people say like AR-15s are destroying everything, they're not. It's mostly handguns. And you got to be 21 to get a handgun. Like I said, this dude was 18 when he bought the gun, which is legal, and he went through a background check. Anyways, though, man, you know, I just really wanted to bring this to you guys' attention, because I see that whenever these types of mass shootings happen, you know, a lot of people either want to come after law-abiding citizens for their guns, want to add stricter gun laws and rules and regulations, which basically the end result of the stricter gun laws, rules, and regulations is no guns. Ban all guns. Guns are bad. Instead, they really do need to have training on how to use guns, gun safety, everything like that, so that way they're not scared of guns, but they'll realize that even if you try to regulate people mental health background checks, there's always going to be those who pass those things. There's always going to be people who are just sick in the head and do these things, and there's no way to absolutely just abolish gun violence. Because if we're going to care about mass shootings, which mass shootings are very tragic, like the elementary school and the grocery store shooting, those are very tragic. Like I said, prayers to the families. But we also need to acknowledge the mass shootings that happen every day that aren't shooting up schools or shooting up grocery stores. But we need to talk about the gun violence in Chicago, gun violence in New York, and figure out why these rules and regulations and these strict laws aren't actually solving the problem. But anyways, man, let me know your thoughts down below. As always, it has been your boy Chad. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the recent support. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.